Ahlan wa sahlan. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to conjugate a basic Form 1 verb in the present tense in the Arabic language. Let's start with a simple Form 1 verb, sakina. Sakina means he lived. It's conjugated for huwa, and it's a past tense verb. It's actually the root as well. If you were going to look up this word in the dictionary, you would look it up just as you see it. Sin, kaf, and noon. But we want to conjugate it in the present tense. In the present tense, we need to add something at the beginning of the word as well as something at the end of the word. So let's begin. If we want to conjugate the verb sakina in the present tense for ana, we add an aleph at the beginning, then our three root letters, sin, kaf, and noon, and then a dhamma at the end. Eskunu, eskunu, ana, eskunu. If we want to conjugate the verb for enta, we need to add a ta at the beginning, then our three root letters, and a dhamma at the end. Teskunu, teskunu, enta, teskunu. You live. And this is the masculine form. If we're talking about a female and we want to say you live, it's a little bit different. We begin with the ta and then our three root letters, but then we need a ya and a noon at the end. Teskunun, teskunina, teskunina. Enti, teskunina. So we add a ta at the beginning, a ya, a noon, and a feta at the end, and it's teskunina. If we want to say he lives, or conjugate the verb for huwa, we need to begin with a ya. And then we add again our three root letters, and add a dhamma at the end. Yeskunu, yeskunu. If we want to say she lives, we say teskunu, teskunu. We add a ta at the beginning and a dhamma at the end. You may have noticed that the word for she lives and the word for you live in the masculine form are exactly the same. So the only way you're going to know if you're saying she lives or you live to a male is by context. If we want to say we live, we add a noon at the beginning of the word, then our three root letters, and a dhamma at the end. And the word becomes neskunu, neskunu, we live. If we want to say you all live, we're going to start with a ta, we're going to add our three root letters, but then we're going to add a wow, a noon, and a feta at the end. So it becomes teskununa, teskununa. You all live. Teskununa. And finally, if we want to say they live, we're going to start with a ya, again give our three root letters, and then a wow, a noon, and a feta. and it becomes yeskununa, yeskununa. There are other conjugations in the Arabic language. For instance, we could conjugate in the dual. If there are two males or two females, we'll be using a different verb, but we'll save that for another day. Now let's try another verb. Let's try darasa. Darasa means he studied. How are we going to say I study? We begin with an aleph, then our three root letters, and a dhamma. Edrusu. Ana edrusu. I study, or I am studying. What about if we want to say you study to a male? Then we're going to begin our verb with ta, our three root letters, and a dhamma at the end. Enta tedrusu. Enta tedrusu. You study, or you are studying. If we want to say you are studying to a female, we're going to start with a ta, then our three root letters, but then we're going to do a ya and a noon and a feta, and it becomes tedrusina, tedrusina. Tedrusina, you study for a female. If we want to say he studies, we begin with the letter ya. Then we add our three root letters and a dhamma at the end. And the word becomes yedrusu. Yedrusu. Huwa yedrusu. He studies. If we want to say she studies, we're going to begin our verb with a ta, then our three root letters, and a dhamma at the end. Hiya tedrusu. Hiya tedrusu. You may have noticed that tedrusu is the same word that we used for enta. So enta and hiya are both the same. If we want to say we study, we begin our verb with a noon, and then our three root letters, dal, ra, and sin, with a dhamma on the end. Nedrusu. Nahnu nedrusu. We study, or we are studying. If we want to say you all are studying, we're going to begin our verb with the letter ta, then our three root letters, and then a waw, and a noon, and a feta. And it becomes tedrusuna. Tedrusuna. Tedrusuna, you all are studying. And finally, if we want to say they are studying, we're going to begin our verb with a ya, then our three root letters, followed by a waw, a noon, and a feta. Hum yedrusuna. Hum yedrusuna.